January 10th, 2025, a little bit after 4 in the afternoon. I was able to get out in the sun, which is good for you. Um, I'll leave that at that. But I was thinking about what's going on in the whole world, basically. It's nice to be in a tranquil place, be able to think, because you could always turn on your device and find out all kinds of information. Seriously, an iPhone, like a computer in your hand, was by most people, wasn't even thought of it like in the 1990s. I have had one of the first things to come out from Apple. It's called the Newton, and it was so slow. I took it to church. I thought it was cool, but it was so slow. And now you got everything. But I was talking to one intellectual friend, and the internet's only what 30 or 40 years. It hasn't been around that long. Um, but so I like books because think if things went down and you didn't have any books. I mean, you still have nature. I never get bored. I mean, it's such a beautiful world that God created for us. But I'm thinking about books right now. I think this Dow Jones was down like 700 today. So, I've had this book for a while, but when am I going to talk about it? Well, maybe today's a good day to talk about it. The day the market crashed. And real crashes, sometimes you can read the tea leaves going up to it. Or a lot of people do that. They're called, well, there's a lot of ways that people look at the future. I like to just look at basic things. If a country's running with just laws and good laws of economics, for instance, where you have free speech and stuff like that, and freedom to work and do things without horrible taxation, a country can prosper. Here's a book by Jim Rickards, Currency Wars. I've had this for a few years. And there's one guy that I've noticed on the internet that talks about, participating in taking down the ruble a few decades ago. So this stuff is extremely interesting, but it can be manipulated. So I think the main thing to understand about this is basically any country that has a currency can print more of it, if they don't have scruples. And what country has scruples? Most people just printing press. But a country that was backed by constitutional money, gold and silver, just think what could happen with that kind of a freedom. Anyway, this book's interesting. I've got a lot of books here, but I'm just going to go through a few. Well, maybe I should say Trump, just, get your CFR guy and get out the latest thing about from Foreign Affairs, and Mr. Trump, you'd have your marching orders, right? Well, for a long time, people thought that way. But it looks like El Donaldo Trumpo has a differing opinion. So this is from 2008, Changing China. So the intellectuals used to write this, and I'd buy it and read it. It's kind of fun to have it historically. Look at this. Look at the article here. Okay, at the bottom. How Business Can Help Save the World by Klaus Schwab. I swear, there it is. Global Corporate Citizenship. Klaus Schwab. Global corporate citizenship means that companies must not only be engaged with stakeholders, but be stakeholders themselves alongside government and civil society. Oh my gosh, page 107. Holy cow. So, economics is very important, which is what's used to buy, sell, and trade. There's some basic things you can learn, like Crusoe and Friday, and I kind of, with my schooling, thought tariffs were bad because it, changes things. But with some explications about tariffs that I've heard recently, I didn't know that we were so prosperous under McKinley. But it kind of makes sense because I remember when I was back at school, it's like global, not global. That was our big decision. And I was back there studying business and economics in 1987 to 89, before 1992, which was the European Union, and we were all looking, wow, it's going to be great, be global. So if you're smart, you're global. If you're dumb, you're going to say, yeah, go ahead and make Washington machines like whatever you want. They're going to waste water. And then once you go to California and, you have to flush a toilet 15, seriously, like sometimes 10 times if you can do in numero dos. And then they say don't do it for number one. It's just this water rationing. And then I lived in Northern California. And there's so much water coming out of the Sierra Mountains. It's just like the Sacramento River is just full, and there's a delta area, just water as far as you can see. They grow rice there. In rice paddies, there's so much water. You can go water skiing there and everything. And I guess somewhere there was a little smelt. And the smelt is just, I mean, it's a bait fish at best. The world could live without the smelt. But there's just so much water that comes out of those mountains, and they don't capture it. They don't send Southern California just off to the sea. And they act like there's a shortage. Anyway, I think I'm going to read other stuff besides Klaus Schwab. Like Cleon Skousen, one of my faves. Cleansing of America, Cleon Skousen. Dr. Cleon Skousen spent the majority of his life researching the gospel, the U.S. Constitution, the founding of America, and writing numerous books and articles on the subject. Amen. A lot of people, I'd say more non-Mormons know about Cleon Skousen because he wrote a great book back in the 60s, I think it's called The Naked Communist, explaining about Karl Marx, explaining about the 10 planks of the Communist Manifesto, which I'm surprised hardly anybody can even know that there's 10 planks to the Communist Manifesto. How can you vote intelligently in a country if you don't know the different economic systems? But Ed Sabe, he knows. He knows America's crippled. I didn't even dream of some guy like this coming along back when President Obama was in office. I didn't have any idea that it could be great. And I like to consider myself a white hat, but I think there's been a lot of black hat activity. Mark Cuban endorses. Probably the best thing to happen to politics in a long, long time. Way to go, Cuban. The Federalist, New York Magazine. Anyway, he's got a plan. The military has a plan, and I think some of this has to happen. But, when innocent people get hurt, like these fires in Los Angeles, are heart-wrenching. You think people have lost everything, down to their stamp collection, stuff like that. I just like to be widely read. This is one of my favorite prophecies by George Washington. And then I found a guy on the internet, and he knew about this book, and this guy was talking about this book, but this is an extremely interesting book. Weird scenes inside the canyon. It's about Laurel Canyon. And I remember watching the monkeys on cartoon shows. It's, this guy was killed. He's been taken out. Book extremely interesting if you want about Laurel Canyon Hotel, California. And it didn't start in San Francisco, folks. It started in Laurel Canyon, which seems like it just got burned up around there. Yep, here's what we're going to experience. We go back to sound principles. We're going to have a 5,000-year leap. And I think that's what we're going to do. I think this country has kind of had it with, you can look at economic systems, but if there's one where they say, whatever you do, you're going to get $1,000 a month. Doesn't whether work hard or don't work hard. If you're digging ditches, you don't feel like it, and you just sit on the side of the road or whatever. There's one kid on the side of the road that's sure working his bum off. But if you have it just like that, then people aren't going to work. And then if you have say, okay, you work real hard and you're making $10,000 a month. But they say, you know what? We got people that, need a TV set and stuff. So the government says, you're making $10,000 a month, but I'm going to take $5,000 a month. And your state says, I'm going to take $2,000 a month. Pretty soon you're working your bum off and you're bringing home $3,000 a month. And you're not making it. You're stressed out. That's happened to many Americans. Wouldn't it be wonderful to just make your own money in a sound economy and keep the fruits of your labors? And then if you want to build something where the smelter in California and have something, you don't have ridiculous laws. Like there's a thing with four-wheelers here in Utah. You don't believe how big Utah is. But when they say you can't ride your four-wheeler on that road now, it's the federal government making a decision, it's not right. Okay, back to crashes, okay? So I've been studying crashes for a long time. Have I been wrong on some of my forecasts? Yes. Have I been right on some of them? A lot of you people know that I have. Here's one book I bought, How to Prepare for the Coming Crash. And this guy's a writer for the Wall Street Journal. The Crash of '89, How to Profit in the '90s. Look at that. He's off. So '89, '99, 2009. He's off by like 30 something. Yeah, 30. He's off by like 35 years, but not really, because things have crashed. It's just the illusion. The movie keeps going. So maybe I would ask, like, when's the movie over? That might be a better one to ask. And then I got a calm on that I saw on the internet, on Telegram. And it's a clip of Donald Trump buying even more popcorn. It's hard to find good popcorn. I'm kind of tired of popcorn. Plus, I don't like microwaving food, so I don't have any popcorn currently. And same here, another Wall Street Journal article, guy, beyond our means. Look at this. Look at this book here. How America's long years of debt deficits and reckless borrowing now threaten to overwhelm us. And this, once again, back from the late 80s. I think that's when he did it, yeah. So, as these things build up, at some point, somebody's going to, like, the domino, and it's going to crash. And the crash will be epic. And it looks to me, because economics basically is the study of living. How do you support how do you work, keep what you make, how much do you work, can you fish, can you not fish? And a country can be crushed by too many laws and regulations. And that happened to our country. Now, I haven't read War and Peace, but War and Peace it's a classic by the Russian writer. I'll maybe read this with my time off to try to be erudite. But it's almost always War and Peace. Here's my magazine from Harvard, Academic Freedom and Free Speech. It is an issue. And when you're out there in the corporate world, you learn to speak with political correctness. Luckily at Harvard, well, no, I didn't have him, but he was one of the star professors when I was there, a guy called Stephen Wheelwright. I went to church with him. He's a Mormon. And so you see Mitt Romney and him at church and other guys that were pretty well known. He was very well known for restoring competitive manufacturing. He was a very, charismatic guy. I remember seeing him one time with his family at the Musée d'Orsay in Paris, just out of the blue. So manufacturing, of course, is critical. Guess who the man of the decade was back February 1st, 1990. Man of the decade. It's just interesting to read history. And then I jump deep, and I love to go to the deepest level when I study things. And this is a treasured book here, very rare book. Dry Bones. Basically, the research on this goes into Egyptology much deeper than I think pretty much anybody on earth. This guy's the real deal. He researches it. Alexander Joseph. Yeah, he's something else. He's dead, but an amazing man when he was alive. And then, look at this. Amish living without electricity. That might be a wise thing to do, no matter where you live, because it might go off for a little while. It definitely has here in the United States in a few places. Look at North Carolina. I don't, the suffering in Southern California right now, because I think the fires are real. I've had enough verification. I have friends there. And at first they thought it's not going to hit them, but I think it's taken out like 10,000 houses, 10,000 structures. It's a horrific fire. People have lost everything. Pray for them. That the scriptures are coming true. People are going to leave California. I bet over 1 million people leave because of this. I happen to leave rather early, even though it's a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful state. But when they keep having confiscatory taxes, things where you can't, I remember when you couldn't get raw milk, that just laws are constantly rules and regulations. So there's a ton of water in California. And, you know, they grew a fifth of the world's food there in the Central Valley. It's a breadbasket, but when you keep having these regulations and people leaves and talent leaves, and then you got the sanctuary stuff going on, been pretty cray-cray. So home remedies, it's good to test those out in case, you know, you need to get, have some garlic if somebody gets bronchitis or whatever. Thinking about the economy today, I think about your life, you know. There's only two things you take into the next life. There's only two things. And that is your relationships with other people. That goes into the next life, okay? Your relationships, you take those with you into the next life. And what you've made of yourself, your attributes. So if you try to be a good person, you know, Jesus, who's our judge, he'll be our final judge. You know, that's kind of the way, because of the imperfections we all have, and heaven knows I got tons of them. But if you're nice to people, it makes you feel good. It helps them out. And I think that's how God gets things done. He helps people through other people. Because I think of the people that have helped me out. It's like, you know, why they help me out. And it's not that many. Some people that just walk past you. Never being a millionaire, and like, you know, you can go through money when it's rolling around. And then I got hit pretty much because of my belief system, which is laissez-faire, Constitution, Bastiat, common law. I'm not a big respecter of the bar, British registry, and all that stuff. Be true to yourself, your heart. It's going to be a rough 2025, but hey, we're alive right now. God put us down here. And some of you folks have been through near-death experiences. When that happens, you tend to take life a little more seriously. And there's plenty of comps in here. I don't have to know gematria to do all this. I've got plenty of friends that do too much gematria. I'm into numbers, but not that much with that. I'd rather know what that's going on there. I'd rather know what this means, and I'd rather understand the plan, Stan. Okay, 17 minutes and 38 seconds. It's just obvious. It's going to be a little rough because of disruptions. We're changing to a new financial system completely. The military has been in control. We've been in a movie. So hang in there, chill out, hug a tree, get some sun if you can. Be nice to people, because it's going to be a rough next few months. This stuff is all prophesied in the Bible before the second coming of Jesus Christ. So the second coming is not going to happen in the next few weeks. It's not that I know when it's going to happen, but I know when it's not going to happen. There's certain prophecies that have to be fulfilled before it happens, and I might get into those. Right now, I just covered a few books. This is a good one. This is by Cleon Skousen too. Wow. Huh. The Secret Mission of Jesus Christ. Well, I got some reading to do, folks. Happy New Year. It's late, but I like to, after the sun comes out, I feel like I'm in a better mood. And it's a fight between good and evil. It's really what it is. And if you're still alive, you're still in the fight. God bless you. And God bless people that want justice, especially for the innocent that can't defend themselves. In the name of Jesus Christ, have a good year serving others in 2025. Amen.